So here I have my fabric folded into four because I want to cut both the back and the front together. So the full length is 53 inches, but plus 3 inches for hemming allowance, it will be 56 inches. So right now, since the back and the front are together, we'll deal with the back piece first. So the vertical measurements we'll be imputing are the armhole depth of 12 inches at that point, then waist length is 18 inches, the hip length is 27 inches, then the full length is 53 plus 3 inches 56. So here we are going to impute the neckline measurement. The neckline I'll be using for this dress is 4 inches by 3 inches. That is the one for the back. Since we are cutting both back and front, that is the one we'll still be using for now. So I've marked my 4 inches and my 3 inches and I'm connecting. So by the time you connect it, you take your the person's shoulder measurements that I'm working with is 14 inches. So I'm marking that 7 inches. That's 7 inches for the shoulder measurement. But then the sleeve, the length of the sleeve that she wants is just 23 inches from that shoulder point that I marked there. So from there, since I want to be adding that red fabric to it, I'm going to make it 20 inches. Then the rest I will be augmenting with the red fabric for the design. Then I'm coming back by 12 inches on that point, and then I will also cross check to make sure that I have 20 inches from that 12-inch point so that I will not have any slanting lines. Then I'm connecting back to the shoulder of the dress. So after I've connected to the shoulder of the dress, I'm going to impute my bust measurement. That bust measurement, her bust measurement is 42 inches divided by 4 is 10.5, but I'm adding 4 inches for ease and for sewing allowance. It depends on how full you want it to be. You can work with whatever you want. Same goes for the waist. The waist is 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. Now I've added extra 4 inches to it, which will give me 13.75. Now the hip and the bust are the same measurement, which is 42. So I have 10.5 plus 4 inches again, which will be 14.5. So I'm going ahead to just connect it. I'm connecting it with a ruler for now, but I will blend the curves later because we do not have sharp points on our body. So whatever sharp points you have to just blend it to make it look beautiful and elegant. So here I'm joining it. Now from the hip line to the hem, whatever you get on that hip line is what you are just going to replicate down to the hem, except if you want to narrow the hem depending on the style of the boubou that you want or the style that you are sewing. So I'm just going ahead to mark that 14.5 inches again, and then I'm connecting it just straight down. So like I said, you can decide to make your hem to be wider or narrower. For the purpose of this video, I decided to make it straight, but my client wants it a little bit narrow, so I'm just going to narrow it a little bit, which I'll show you later. Now we have to blend from that armhole point to join the body with a curve. Please let your curve be smooth so that by the time you're ironing and turning it out, it will be nice. Then since we have like I said, we don't have any sharp edges on our body or sharp corners in our body, so I'm going ahead to blend that waist area, to just blend it into a nice curve so that the dress will look elegant and it will fit perfectly on the body of the person wearing it. Okay, so here I'm still trying to. Then I have a cut together pocket which I'm drawing, since I'll be using a cut together pocket. So I'm drawing that pocket. Please make your pocket as roomy as possible for the person's shoulder. You can take any shape you want. It can be square, but for this, I love the shape of this cut together pocket. So I'm just going to, you place your hand on it, and then just blend it in a way that it will look beautiful and yes, and roomy for the person to wear. So I'm just going to go ahead and narrow the hem of my dress. So I just narrowed it a little by just 1 inch, and then I'm blending it back to that hip area, or from that hip area. So if you are narrowing, please make sure you blend it so that it does not have any so it will not look misshapen. So you blend it, but if you want to leave it straight, it can still be left straight. So this is me just coming up. If it is a slit you want to put, if you want to add slits to the dress like this one in the video, you can come up by either 12 or 13 inches depending on how the height or the length of the slit that you want. So guys, you can just go ahead and cut your dress pieces now. Since the back and the front are cut together, start from that neckline, then follow the other lines to cut your fabric pieces. Then along your cut together pocket, I love this because it is simple, and then I don't need to have to cut a pocket separate to join. Since the hem of my dress is narrow, I can just follow the line of that the narrow line. That's just follow the lines that you have drawn, and then also trim the hem to the desired length that you want. So this is what it looks like. We are opening that shoulder point also, and then separate the back from the front so we can make the neckline for the dress. So this is the back, this is the front that is separated from the back, and this is where we are going to design the details. So now for the shoulder points, for the shoulder or upper points of that detail, I want it to just be 4 inches wide. So that 4 inches is what I've marked there. Since 3 inches is what we took for the back neck depth, we are going to just take our tape out by 3 inches. Then the neck depth for the front one will just be that 7 inches. I want mine to be 7 inches. You can decide to just make it how deep you want yours to be, or how deep the client is comfortable with. So I'm just using my ruler now to connect. And since it is a v-neck, the beauty of a v-neck line is how straight it is and how well you are able to turn it and make it look neat. So go ahead and just connect it. Please give my video a like, please share also and subscribe. It will really encourage me to make more tutorials. So here, the length of the detail, where I want the detail to stop on the body of my client, is under her bust. So and under her bust is 15 inches. So I'm marking that same 4 inches again at that point, and then also marking that 4 inches at the neck depth point, and then I'll connect with my straight ruler. But after connecting, you should try to blend it also so that it will look beautiful. So this is me still connecting it to the bottom of where I want the detail to stop. So when you reach that point, don't forget to blend it. It will look more beautiful when it is blended. And then here I am connecting from that 4 points to the middle of the dress. And by the time you open it up, you will see that it becomes 8 inches. That's the ending of the detail there. It becomes 8 inches. Now, to ensure that by the time you are joining the red fabric or whatever fabric you are importing into the dress, by the time you are joining that side back to it, it will not eat into your allowance and make it wider than you want to. Just come in by 0.5 inch or 0.25, depending on the allowance you use to join your fabrics. So for me, I'm just going to use 0.25. I'm eyeballing 0.25. So I will just mark it inside. That is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to mark that 0.25 inside of the design detail, not outside, please, inside. Then just mark it or eyeball it round the detail, so that by the time you are joining it, it doesn't eat into your fabric or make it wider, and then everything will just fit perfectly. So wherever you have the blend, you also blend. Just follow the shape but go in by 0.5 or 0.25 inches. So and when you are doing that, please make sure that that point is also sharp. As the outside point is sharp, let the inner point also be sharp. When you are cutting it, also ensure that you obey the sharpness at that point. It is also beautiful when your work is not looking somehow, when each sharp corner is sharp and is looking crisp. So as you are cutting, this is me cutting my fabric now. So you just cut it out from that one that you drew inside and then separate it. So it is this one that I've separated that I will use to cut the red fabric. That's the one I'm going to lay on the red fabric and cut. So you can decide to cut out the neckline now, or when you have cut the lining piece with it. So I'll place this one on the red fabric and cut, and add half-inch allowance back outside, so that by the time you just join it, everything will be in place. Every allowance will remain intact, sorry. So, and then I'll also cut a lining piece for it, the exact same measurements with the red fabric. So this is the shape that we have outside after we have separated it. So this is the front neckline detail that we removed. We are just going to place it on any fabric you want to import onto your dress, and then include your allowance. That's 0.5 or 0.25 inches that you took the other time. Please just add it back now, and then you can decide to leave the V part of the neckline out without cutting for now, because we also use this red fabric, or whatever fabric you are using. You still use that shape, because this one now includes an allowance. You use it to cut the lining you will use to turn the neckline. So the same rule will go for the back neckline. Just place them on top of each other like so. Remember to add your allowance. You might or you might not want to cut out the neckline, the real neckline, yet until you are done stabilizing on the lining. So this is it. Just cut it out and remember your sewing allowance. Now for the part of the sleeve where we want to import the red fabric, remember that the armhole depth we took, which is automatically our sleeve round, was 12 inches at the beginning of the tutorial. So just fold your fabric, on that fold you should have that 12 inches by the desired wideness that you want for that part of the sleeve. So mine on fold is 12 inches, and then the wideness that I want, if it is on fold and when it's on fold, is 3 inches. But when it's open like this, I'm going to make it, instead of 6 inches, I'm going to make it 7 inches, so that I can have half inch to join to the sleeve. Because when it is on fold, that 7 inches will now be 3.5 inches. Then we can use that half inch to join, and then have our 3 inches still remaining. Now I'm just going to make sure that I have that 12 inches by the 7 inches. I'm just going to make sure I have them at all corners, so that I can connect with my ruler. So just make sure you connect with your ruler and cut. So when you open it up, you have your desired length and the wideness. So this is for one sleeve. Just cut it, and then cut the one for the other sleeve also. So after cutting both pieces for the sleeve, you can go ahead and iron on interfacing. Now it is optional, but interfacings give added stability and texture to certain parts of a dress. So if you iron on interfacing on your own, you should also do that for the neckline of the main dress, that is the Ankara part, so that the difference in the texture will not give you any confusion or complications when you are joining it. So this is what I'm trying to say. Also, I iron on interfacing on the Ankara fabric. So after that, you can now cut out that V part of the neck. At any stage you want, you can cut out the V part. Also, do the same thing. Press on the interfacing for the sleeve part also. So at this point, just use whatever fabric you want for your lining to turn it. In this case, I used Ankara to turn that V neckline, and then give it a very good press so that it will look crisp and beautiful. And also you can overlock, you can weave, or you can just use a basting stitch to join the to join the lining and the main fabric piece together, so that by the time you are joining it to the main dress, it will be stable, it will not be giving you any problems. So when you are doing that, please leave out a few inches from that shoulder point, so that by the time you are turning it, just like you do for linings, it will just lay on each other, right sides facing, and then your shoulder joining will be seamless and beautiful, so that nobody will see where you joined the shoulder of the dress. So that's just what that opening there is for. If it's not enough, you can also rip down a little bit so that you just use it to join it, and then your shoulder, that shoulder joining at the neckline will be seamless and perfect, and it will be hidden just like so. So what I'm going to do, just to go and sew it together and come and show you again. So at this point now, I've sewn it together. Sorry, the camera is shaking. I've sewn it together, and this is what I'm talking about. That joining is hidden now, and thanks to that point that we left. So this is the best way to turn this neckline for me. It's after we have finished turning the neckline, you can also iron it. Give it a good press so that it will lay down perfectly, and then rebaste if you want. Then put it on the fabric. Just use your pins to hold them stable on the main dress. Make sure that your notches and your center points are aligned, including that of the dress also. Let them be aligned and join to the main dress. That is after you have finished sewing the shoulder seams. So when you are done with that, you see how beautiful our dress is already turning out, especially with the color pop. This is the back. Please, when you are done, give it a good press around that shoulder seam, then turn it inside out so that you can just join the dress now. So when you have turned it inside out, start joining from that arm area through to the pockets. Then you stop wherever you want your slits to start. That is if your dress has a slit. So just go ahead and join by whatever allowance you are working with. Here I have joined the dress and I've given it a good press. Now for the sleeve, the colored part of the sleeve, you can decide to attach it before or after joining the entire dress. Also for the slits, I just went up by 10 inches. Yours can be 12 inches depending on how depending on the height the client wants the slits to be. And if your own does not even have a slit, it is still good. Like I said, it is optional. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. So guys, this is the finished project. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe and share. It will encourage me to make more content. You can see this is the cut together pocket. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.